Are you thinking of adding amenities to your Airbnb, but not sure which ones are the most profitable? In today's video, I am gonna cover the top 15 amenities that all Airbnb should have. Before we do, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. Hey everyone, my name is Jorge Contreras and I have built a $1 million Airbnb business where we do over 6 figures a month, and I've accomplished that over the last 5 years. And so I definitely know a thing or two as to which amenities have brought me the best return on investments, and also which amenities people actually don't care to have in their Airbnb when they're staying at your property. Now look, I know that there's a super long list of amenities that you could add to your Airbnb, but you need to pick the right ones that are actually going to boost your revenue and your occupancy. Now, here are some of my top amenities, and again, you may not be thinking about these right now, but just know that they are super important when guests are deciding which properties they're going to stay at. Now, a lot of these amenities are actually what allowed me to thrive when everything was shut down not too long ago. And so this strategy actually allowed us not just to survive, but thrive during these closing down of the cities and the states and countries where people stopped traveling for a long time. But because of this strategy, we actually were able to attract the locals. Number one is having a pool. Now, having a pool has actually been one of my secret strategies over the last few years that has allowed us to drastically increase our revenue and occupancy. We have been able to charge more money for these properties compared to the ones that actually don't have a pool. Now, it's self-explanatory, right? I mean, think about it. When families are coming in to travel, in addition to going to that conference, that wedding, that birthday party, that event, concert, whatever it may be, they're able to come home and relax in a pool. Now, if that pool has the capability to be heated, 10 times better. But again, most of my properties that have a pool don't have a heater. So it's not necessary, but it could be an additional added amenity. And for the properties that we do have a heated feature, we actually charge them $50 to $100 per day. We do note this in the description, in the booking agreement, so they're already agreeing to it because they want to have that experience of, swimming in a warm pool. Or also it could be a spa, right? That is the number 2 thing on my list here, is having like a spa or a jacuzzi can also be something that could really enhance the experience of your guests traveling to your area. I know personally when me and my wife and friends travel anywhere in the States or to a different country, having a pool, a jacuzzi is absolutely a must. I mean, for us, when we travel, it's about being near the water or a pool with a jacuzzi and food. Like, that's it. And I think a lot of people, especially in the summer, that's what they think about, right? They think about getting away, going into the water, going into like Cabo, Tulum, or just being near the beach somewhere or having a pool. But again, it really enhances the experience. There's also a lot less properties that do provide a pool or spa. So you get to be a part of that small percentage, yet the increasing demand. The other thing that has been super successful for us is providing a game room. So when possible and when we have the room in the property, we like to add a pool table, a foosball table, and maybe a ping pong table. In addition to that, we also like to provide games like a large Jenga, a large Connect 4, and of course, a bunch of board games and card games, again, just to really provide that cozy and fun family experience. The next amenity that I've seen work out really well is providing a sauna. Providing a sauna, again, really enhances the experience at your short-term rental. Now, I know, ladies and gentlemen, that all these things might be very difficult to provide, but even if you just took 1 or 2 of these amenities that I'm going over today, it can really increase your revenue and your occupancy. Now, the next one that I want to go over is providing a laptop workplace, somewhere where you just have like a desk and a chair, because nowadays, especially since so many people are working from home, working from their computers, from their phone, there's a lot of people that like to travel and work at the same time. And this is actually one of those features that shows up on Airbnb as a filter. You can actually add the workplace, and when people are looking for a short-term rental that specifically has a workplace, your property will show up and everyone else who doesn't have a workplace won't show up. Another amenity that could also be useful, now this is one that we typically don't allow in most of our properties, but if it's something that you may want to try out, because again, you would be part of that smaller percentage that does allow, and that is allowing for pets. Just to be quite honest, in the past we have allowed pets, and there was times where guests actually left poop from their pets, just like under the bed or in hidden areas. They probably didn't even notice it. But the thing is, like, sometimes those smells are really difficult to get rid of, and that's why we just don't allow it. But I have seen that this can actually increase occupancy in a lot of properties just because it's not something that most people allow. In addition to that, you could actually charge a pet fee, maybe $25 or $50 per pet, just to maybe get rid of the smell or if there's any like hair left behind. Again, you may want to try it out and see if it works for you. But this is one, just being quite honest, that we typically don't use in most of our properties. The next one is AC and heat, for obvious reasons. If you're traveling to an area where it gets really hot or it gets really cold, you want to give your guests that capability, that amenity of being able to use the AC. And typically I prefer if it's central AC. It's also just much more aesthetically pleasing and just easy on the eye compared to portable or window units or wall units. But portable, window and wall units are better than not having them at all. The next few amenities is of course providing a free and designated parking area. As I've mentioned in other videos of mine, I have had experiences where I didn't provide a designated parking space and it actually brought my reviews down and for a while took away my superhost status. So make sure that you provide designated parking. And I would say if you're hosting anywhere from 1 to 4 guests, 1 parking spot should be good. If you're hosting 5 to 8, then 2 parking spaces minimum, and so on and so forth. The next amenity is of course providing a kitchen, because there are units out there that don't provide a kitchen. In fact, one of my very first Airbnbs back in 2017, I did what I call a split home ADU, where I took a single family residence and split it into 2 units, completely blocking the walls, creating their own entrances, and I basically turned it into 2 completely separate units. But because it was in an area that wasn't very popular back then, I wasn't sure how it was gonna do. So I didn't have a kitchen. I did provide a coffee pot, a microwave, a blender, mugs, things like that, but again, there was no kitchen. And then it started to do really well. So I said, you know what? It's doing well without the kitchen. How would it do with the kitchen? So I invested a little more money, put an actual kitchenette, and of course my revenue increased by about 35% every single month. So having a kitchen, again, is very important. And there's a lot of people that when they travel, they like to just do Instacart or order groceries into where they're staying and just cook in order to keep their costs low or just to have a great cooking experience with their family. So a kitchen is super, super important. Another one is of course internet, right? You want to provide strong internet in all of your properties. Again, I know when I travel, I'm using my phone all the time. I'm using my computer, and I personally don't have any properties that don't have Wi-Fi. Now, there is an exception. I know there are certain areas, typically in desert areas, where they actually advertise off-grid, meaning there's no internet and there's a bunch of other things that they don't offer. And sometimes people actually want to disconnect to connect, and they are advertising this in advance, so the people that actually want to get away from the city and go to these desert areas where houses are like acres in size, that could actually be a plus. But for the most part, you want to make sure that you provide internet in every single one of your properties. The next amenity is having a washer and dryer. Again, for obvious reasons, people want the convenience to be able to wash and dry their clothes. And maybe when they get back home from vacation, they don't have to do laundry, or they might want to reuse certain things. Hey guys, if you're enjoying these amenities and you know they're gonna help you in starting your Airbnb business or growing it, and you like the content so far, make sure you hit that like button. It really helps me out get these videos in front of more people. Thank you in advance. Hey everyone, if you enjoyed this video but are maybe concerned that there are still more things that you need to learn when it comes to starting your Airbnb business, I do have a free ebook in the description down below. Make sure you guys check it out. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and turn on that notification bell.